Hello everyone, my name is Cristian Klein. I'm a technical product manager at Elasticys. We are building Velkin, which is a Kubernetes-based application platform for EU companies which have high demands on security and regulatory compliance. Speaking of regulatory compliance, NIS2 is coming for you. And you have two choices: wait and see, in which case you risk getting meaningless security policies for your organization, and you risk having a pretty demotivating job just implementing security theater. Or get involved, influence the security policies that your organization is going to come up with, and work on meaningful security measures. Now, the wait and see crowd, just go ahead for the break, no need for you to listen to the rest of this talk. But the get involved crowd. So what is NIS2 in a nutshell? It's a piece of European legislation which makes security a management responsibility. That's right, you're listening to this talk so that your CEO gets to keep his job and even avoid some jail time. Now, the question is, who really needs to care about NIS2? And I just put here this infographic, but you know, energy, transportation, banking, public sector, research, it almost feels like everybody, including business-to-business managed services. Now, one of the things that NIS2 requires to do is risk management. It works as follows. You read the news and realized that one of the cloud providers was attacked by ransomware and declared that they lost all customer data. And then you're thinking like, if this happened to one of our suppliers, what is the risk here? So you go in a sort of a brainstorming room or something like this, and you realize like, we have our backups in the same cloud as we run our production infrastructure, so if they're attacked by a ransomware attack, we are essentially having lost all backups. How bad is this? Well, it doesn't happen that often that ransomware attacks happen, so the likelihood is rather low. But having no way out in case of such an attack, that's pretty bad. So you decide, we need to do something about this. So you decide to mitigate this with off-cloud backups. And now, here is the drill, right? Here is the most important thing that I want to tell you during my talk. Your organization has two choices. Either each application team comes up with their own solution, which leads to many different implementations, which have to be maintained and which costs a lot. And then if one application team moves to a different application team, they suddenly find themselves in a completely different ecosystem. Or you implement this at the platform level once, and using cool technologies such as rclone and Velero, and this way you basically end up saving time, saving money for your CEO, and you end up also playing with cool cloud-native technology and Kubernetes. Yay! Now let's take another example. You read that the data center burns down, and you realize that, well, this could lead to the fact that our application would face downtime. Now, given that we have offsite backups, the impact is this time rather low. So you decide, well, how about we accept the risk, right, and just document it. But just to make sure that I'm very clear here, this is not sweeping problems under the carpet. This is really like, it brings honesty to the conversation, right? You document the risk, your manager signs it off. There's no more like, oh guys, I thought we were, or why haven't we implemented yet, right? So in my opinion, this is really positive because it brings honesty in the conversations of, well, what implicit assumptions do we have? And NIS2 also has, just to make sure that you don't accept all of the risks, NIS2 also has a set of 10 minimum requirements. Think of them like 10 commandments, but for security, incident handling, Prometheus OpenSearch, network security, and so on. These are technical requirements on the organization, but cloud native can significantly lower the burden of implementing all of this. Again, you save your CEO money. With that being said, I left some resources in a slide so that you can read up on it once the slides are published online. And with that being said, thank you very much for your attention. If you want to geek out about Kubernetes and NIS2, I'm around. I would be happy to chat. Thank you.